All right, when you hear that music, you know it's time for only one thing. It is time to brunch with Bud. We do it every single Tuesday here on the Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital. It's my old partner, Bud Poliquin, and today's broadcast, as always, brought to you by our friends at Cam's Pizzeria. There's always love at first slice. Locations in Oswego and lovely Camillus. Go see our friend Tony Calacibetta and his whole family at Cam's Pizzeria. Delicious. All right, let's bring him in. Bud Poliquin, time to talk all things sports. Arthur, how are you today? Good to see you.
Gentlemen, good morning. It's a pleasure to speak with you. How's that? I'm doing fine. Doing peachy. Loving life. How's that?
As usual, an awkward hello. Okay, moving right along. So let's talk some Syracuse stuff here.
What could be more pleasant than that?
I don't know. There's that weird pregnant pause, and it's like the interns who used to bother you in the hallway, and you say, "How are you?" and then say, "Well, actually," and then you'd be like, "That's not what I really asked here." Well, what do you mean you didn't? You asked them how they were. They're telling you how they were, and now you're telling them to commend and correct what they're doing. So, yeah, let's not go down that road. All right. Anyway, let's talk some Syracuse football to start things off. I love to do things on the local end first. And the Cuse, you see it right there, 4 games left on their schedule, and they'll have to win 3 out of 4 to be bowl eligible. And it's trouble in the barrio with 2 ranked teams. You see Miami and Notre Dame on the schedule November 8th, and then after the bye week on November the 22nd. They got an easy game, supposedly, if anybody's easy, against Boston College on November 29th. And North Carolina, who, has a bad record, but has been playing a little bit better football. I was actually, dare I say, down on Tobacco Road just a couple of days ago, was on the campus of North Carolina while they were playing their game this past weekend on a Saturday nooner. So I was right in the heart, dare I say, of Tar Heels country. Pictures to follow on all our social media, including Instagram. I sent Boy Green some pics while I was down. I was in a shop with Michael Jordan jerseys and all kinds of stuff. All that
very nice.
Was bleeding powder blue. Anyway, point to question, Boy Green, Bud, is can Syracuse get to 6? Do you see any road to 6? Heck, it might even be hard to squint and see a road to 5 here, with Syracuse currently sitting on 3 wins.
Somebody cue Jim Moore up, please. Okay. All right. Playoffs. Playoffs? They're trying to win a game. Playoffs. Please.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs.
Bowl game. Everybody goes to bowl games, Bud. There's 100 of them. There's bowl games. It's not the playoffs.
They're not going to a bowl. The only way they go to a bowl is if they could maybe possibly go 5-7, and then they don't have enough, winning teams to go to a bowl.
The default bowl, that's the worst when you get the default.
Yeah. Backdoor.com bowl.
We've run out of 6-win teams, so we're going to use you instead. Ooh, right. That's the worst.
It's more likely, and I don't mean to bear bad news, but it's more likely that the team will finish 4-8 than 6-6. Because, I'm loving that Belichick is having a tough year. I'm loving it. Okay?
You are, huh?
But
why is that? Is it the girlfriend that gets irritated? I mean, is it the
Jordan Hudson? What is it?
What's irritating you these days?
Just felt like the fact is that they should have won the last 2 games. So you could be looking at a Belichick team that, though it hasn't won the last 2 games, can be feeling as if, wow, we've turned a corner and we've got a reason to play this season out and show the world that we're not as bad as we were. They may be more in need of and inspired by the opportunity this Saturday than would SU. So they could lose to NC. If everything is right in the world, they're going to lose to Miami, and they're going to lose to Notre Dame, and then they're going to beat BC. So, no, they're not going to go to the bowls unless 5-7 sneaks them in, and they have to win. They have to split the last 4 games just to get there. I don't know that they're going to do it.
Oh, there's the lovely. There
you go. Bill Belichick.
She's like a wedding planner, she just plans everything for him.
I'm not here to say that's disgusting or what's sickening or whatever. It's ridiculous. Look at that. Is a ridiculous photograph. It's ridiculous to see him with his arm around her. It's ridiculous to see her with all the skin. And it's just
congratulations, Bill Belichick.
Isn't that Bill and his daughter? I thought that was Bill and his daughter there. Sorry.
It's a ridiculous photograph, and both of them should be embarrassed. Him, like that, looks like it's ridiculous. That's period. And what she's doing, I mean, does anybody think for a millisecond, that she's in love with this guy and not in
He's a
love.
charming guy, Bud. He's a very charming guy.
Charming. Yeah, he's
He's in
quite a
love with
sense of
the
humor,
path
according to many.
He's in love with the path forward in life, not with that guy. Anyway,
Okay. Well, anyway.
4-8, boys, and maybe 5-7. That's where we're headed.
You feeling it for Ricky Collins these days, Bud? Was he just thrust into this too early because of the Angeli injury? I mean, what are your thoughts about Ricky here, who was put in a tough spot? It seemed like he really wasn't ready, and it hasn't been all that good.
Well, no, the story was that the guy had a fighting chance, right, in camp.
Mm-hmm.
And he finished, I don't know, a close second, a competitive second. I don't know what the adjective is.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to be the guy. Remember, they selected him. He was supposed to be the heir apparent to Kyle McCord. And then late in the process, Stephen Joey shakes free, and that's a surprise. And it's reported at the time he's not threatening the starting job. It's still supposed to be Ricky Collins' job, and obviously things changed.
You know the thing at all the highway rest stops where they have the case, and you put in your dollar or whatever, and you have that little claw that goes down there and picks out a stuffed animal, and maybe you get it. Well, maybe in the portal, when you stick that claw into the portal and you do grab on somebody, and that somebody does come out and gets dropped in your program, maybe that isn't what you were looking for. You're looking for the stuffed animal over to the left, and you got the stuffed animal over into the lower right, and maybe we got the wrong stuffed animal dropped out of the claw. Is that stupid?
I'm going to be honest, but I'm just happy with any stuffed animal. If I get anything out of there, I'm like, woohoo, nice. It's a win.
You might end up with a record like this, and you'd be happy with it.
Well,
the point is that the portal is not a guarantee of anything. And, we're seeing that. And I'm not trying to dance anybody's grave. But on the other hand, they're all pros now. They're all professionals. So, if you're going to play pro football, and that's what they're trotting out there, that's professional football, folks. It's pro football, and those are pro athletes. Hey, if you can't cut it, then let's get somebody else in there who can. We're going to pay these people. Let's see them play better than they're playing. And that's harsh and that's cruel, but that's not me. Those are the rules of the road that they all want, and they've wanted it. Now they've got it. And if you're a pro and you're not performing, then you're going to get people, saying unpleasant things.
Hey, Boyd Green.
That's the world.
Boyd Green, I can't ignore the elephant in the room anymore. Could you bring Bud up full screen? I know the video quality tonight is kind of lousy. Bud is on location, so we're getting some freeze ups, but we're getting his audio good. So, folks, I know you're kind of getting Bud in and out in terms of, but he's there. His picture's there the whole time. Sometimes it's frozen, sometimes it's not. But, Bud, answer this question. McFly, what the heck are you doing wearing that life preserver? Explain that to people. I mean, I know you're in Martha's Vineyard. You plan on jumping in the ocean sometime soon? McFly, what's with the life preserver tonight? What's going on there with the wardrobe? Go ahead.
What do you say? I like a Pepsi free or whatever.
You're going to have to pay for a Pepsi. You want a Pepsi. What are you talking about?
I just have it. It's chilly. What can I tell you? It's chilly here on the island. The sea winds are blowing.
The way they dress on the vineyard? Do they all wear life preservers like that? What's going on there?
The sea was unfriendly today, my friend.
All right, bring us back, Boyd Green. I can't bear seeing him frozen on the screen anymore. Anyway, all right, let's continue along the world of college football, Bud. Let's talk about the firing of one. Oh, there it is. Thank you for that, Boyd Green. Good timing there. The life preserver won by Marty McFly in the movie Back to the Future, in case you missed that reference. All right, let's move along to talk about Brian Kelly, fired by LSU this weekend. I mean, there is no patience in college football, even when you owe a guy for another 5-6 years of contract, somewhere in the neighborhood of $55 million. He could just go lay on a beach, I suppose, and collect cash if he doesn't want to be around football players for the next few years. Talk about it.
Just think how foolish our world has become in so many ways, but we're going to talk about college football in a moment. This guy, and I don't like Brian Kelly either, this guy is 20 games over 500 at LSU. He's only been given 3.5 years, and in those 3.5 years, he's 20 games over 500. He's owed $54 million, and we live in a world where people can say, it's only money. Let's get rid of him and find somebody who will be guaranteeing will be better than 20 games over 500 3.5 years into the next contract. I don't feel sorry for Kelly getting fired, because we all should be treated so poorly as Brian Kelly is about to be treated. $54 million to go home and nothing. I'd love that. So would you. So would 99.9% of the world. But what I'm addressing is the stupidity, the embarrassing stupidity of college football. that you can stand before the world and say he's 20 games over 500. We owe him that money, but tear it up. Let's try again. I'm sort of all evidence to the contrary. I'm kind of speakless.
All right, McFly, thank you for that. All right.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I was just going to say.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Hold your thought for a second, Boy Green. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by our friends at Cam's Pizzeria, where it is always love at first slice. Let's just take 30 seconds, learn a little bit more about our friends from Cam's.
When you think of Cam's Pizzeria, think about two of your favorites, their zesty buffalo chicken wing pizza or their tasty chicken bacon ranch. Over 16 specialty pizzas made fresh daily with the best ingredients. Indulge in their homemade calzones, subs, wraps, salads, and their famous cannolis for dessert. They're all made with love just for you. Order online for 10% off at camspizza.com. Locations in Camillus and Oswego. Cam's Pizzeria. It's love at first slice.
All right, we're back. Brunch with Bud Poliquin on the Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital. Pop that subscribe button right now, that little play-looking button with the red around it. Bing! And that'll get you to be one of our subscribers. We're giving away a free $400 golf club, courtesy of our friends at Play It Again Sports, to one of our first 500 subscribers, and we're closing in on that number. So if you want to be one of our first 500, you got to click that subscribe right now. All right, Boy Green, you got the next question. Go ahead, and there's the link right there. You start. Go ahead.
Yes. No, actually, speaking of Cam's real quick, over the weekend, I got a nice half cheese, half pepperoni, got the wing combo. So that was very nice over the weekend. So shout out to Cam's Pizzeria. Love it first slice and love it first wing. That wingy. Polly like wingy. That was very nice. So salute over there to Cam's, baby. Now, I want to, we've often said, Lerch, and you used to say this with Bud when I was in the room, that your best show is the show no one hears. It's the show that happens between commercial breaks, after the show, before the show, and things of that nature. Now, that didn't really happen with you and Bud before the show because, we all know when Bud arrived for Search. Right. So that show didn't exist. But both shows that would have happened. Well, in this particular case, Bud was very early, and me and him were talking Steelers, and boy, it seems like your guy Bud Poliquin has some Steelers hot takes to unpack. So
Steelers, apparently.
There's not much of questions I have to bring up here for Bud. I just have to let him go, and we bring up the Steelers schedule, and apparently he was before I even bring this up, actually, he was disgusting, despicable display on Aaron Rodgers in the supposed game of the week against his old team, the Green Bay Packers. So I'll let you start there, Bud, and then we'll work our way to the schedule. You don't have high hopes for Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh, who's currently in first place in the AFC North.
Well, the Steelers have now lost what? Cincinnati. The Jets beat Cincinnati. The Steelers couldn't. Okay? And then they lose yesterday in just horrifyingly inept way. And I bow to no person in my admiration for Mike Tomlin, but this Steeler team and that Steeler offense with that over the hill, though Hall of Fame quarterback, that was embarrassing. And then defensively, it was embarrassing. I thought that was. I looked at what I saw Sunday night, and then I look at their schedule, and I'm convinced that they're not only in big trouble like today, but I think going forward, that's a team that's not going to make the playoffs. That's a team that probably won't play winning football. And it's a team that's really going to look pretty ugly down the stretch. And, Rodgers will slink out of town. He's done. And there'll be calls in Pittsburgh, probably unfair, that Tomlin is going to get fired. But I'm watching that game, and I'll admit, I know I have a thimbleful of knowledge with football. That's a dangerous thing. It's a thimbleful of knowledge. But with that knowledge, I looked at that and I said, I don't know who's designing the offense for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Every play is a 4-yard toss this way, a 4-yard toss that way, and they hope that the guy can break a few tackles. Meanwhile, the other guy on the other side, Jordan Love, is throwing the ball 4 yards here, 4 yards there, but he's also throwing it over the middle. He's also throwing it down the field. And I just thought that was a men among boys kind of thing. It was a complete mismatch. I know it was only a 10-point game on the scoreboard, but man, that felt like it was a 20-point game in the second half, and that's what mattered. So No, I don't like the Steelers' chances, and it's a shame because I'm a Steelers guy and I'm a Tomlin guy. But that
So fire Mike Tomlin, bud. Are you ready? Yeah, let's throw him out.
I'm not ready to fire Mike Tomlin, but I think I know they're trying their best, but somehow, some way, it was amateur hour that offense. I'm being facetious when I say I could have come up with a better offensive plan, but guess what? In the second half, I could have gone. I think they got shut out in the second half. I think. But if not, they were putrid in the second half. And sure, I could run a putrid offense in the NFL, and they don't have to pay me half of what they're paying their guy. I'm going to do that. I can stink it out like that guy can for half the price. Terrible. They're going nowhere. They're out. Gone.
Terrible. He's like Charles Barkley. Just terrible,
just terrible, man, just terrible
team. The terrible towel, the terrible team, is a terrible, terrible Pittsburgh thing.
Did we get any of that from Frank Caliendo, Lerch, when you guys went out to see him? You and Matt, did we get some terrible guys? It was just terrible.
He's very, very good with Barkley. Yeah, Frank Kelly. We got to get out for another. You know what, bro? That's, you're dragging this guy to all these plays and the Broadway productions. I think it's time for another Caliendo.
I'm in, baby. That'd be fun.
Let's do it again. Is he coming to town?
No, I have no idea, but we'll check his schedule. He's he's out and about all the time. I don't know if he's anywhere near here, but last time his son was in Pittsburgh, as Boy Green mentioned, took a whole group of people. Right? Was that around graduation, Boy Green? Yeah, was that graduation weekend? I think it was
graduation weekend.
It was graduation weekend, and I saw he was there that Friday night, so I got everybody in early, and I said, we're all going to the comedy show. Let's see Frank Caliendo. Terrible. That and the Morgan Freeman. Fantastic. All right, enough of Caliendo. So gambling in the NBA and gambling in college sports. Bud, I just will leave it there on a tee for you and let you go any direction you want. But we've got two scandalous things going on in basketball, both NBA and college. Pick your poison if you like.
Well, anybody who didn't see this coming should stand in the naive line over here, and it'd be a fairly short line, because I can't believe many people didn't see this coming sooner or later, and it's probably come sooner than maybe a lot of people would have thought. But you cannot have a marriage of sports and gambling, which you can't watch a game now. You can't watch any sport now that doesn't have high-profile people. I mean, LeBron James and whoever is doing John Hamm, people of that nature, they're doing gambling commercials. So they got mainstream, big-time people imploring you to gamble. Now, how does that not spill over the sides into the minds of either addicted people or stupid people? And I don't know which way we go with this. Are these people dumb, stupid, crazy, or are they seriously afflicted with a disease called, Gamblers Anonymous, or not anonymous, a gambler's addiction, gambling addiction? The guy in Miami with the Miami Heat is supposedly on a $96 million contract. Now,
Terry Rozier, yeah.
To gamble and to risk that, again, what's the third option? I'm serious. You're either crazy or you're addicted. Could there be another option? And so if you've got crazy people in your world, or you have addicted people in your world, and now you're in debt with the gambling world, you don't think this is going to happen? And right now, apparently there's a dozen or more college kids who need the money more than Rozier needs it at $96 million, who are going to be tempted. This isn't the end of the beginning. This is the start of something that's really going to grow, because I don't know how you put the toothpaste back in the tube here. I don't know if you tell the gambling people, hey, we're out of business with you because they've given them too much money. So what do I think? I think this is a real problem, and I think it's not going away anytime soon, because, again, you mix stupidity with addiction, you got the problem that you got. And if it ever gets to the point where people think that pro basketball or college basketball is highlight, that's a goofy sport, harness racing, you don't have a sport anymore. You could have bad teams trying and losing. You could have bad teams tanking so they get a better draft choice. But if you have teams that you don't know what's going on and what's real, you've got highlight, you've got harness racing, you don't have a product anymore.
Yeah.
So it's a massive problem. Massive.
All right, Bud. Thanks again, as always. Always good to do another brunch with Bud, albeit one where he's in a life preserver. We don't need to see that again. Thank goodness, Marty McFly. Thank you for doing the life preserver thing. We didn't need to do that twice. All right, but Bud on location in Martha's Vineyard, and again, we apologize a little bit for the the squawky sounding. Although the audio was pretty good. It was just that crazy video.
Yeah.
I want to hit him on the head. McFly, Bud. Excuse me. Hello. All right. Anyway. That just happens sometimes when you're on location. I've been there myself. All right. So there it is. Another brunch with Bud in the books, folks. And we will chat again with Bud next Tuesday. Enjoy.